So I'm going to continue with this video looking at, this is part two really, looking at if we went ahead and we had this source and we decided maybe we didn't need to cite Galloway, but we wanted to use his source as, since he gave it to us, we use it as what we think of as a credible source. I mean, it's written by the Economic Policy Institute as a publisher, and maybe we believe that we look at who these people are. And in fact, we see at the bottom of the article, we should have seen more work by them. There is, I believe, about the author, here, so we can read this and decide whether we think they're good enough. Lawrence Mitchell has a PhD, and then Julia Wolf has a BA in political science. You might decide again that the PhD in economics from the University of Wisconsin is good enough and you might trust the publisher, the Economic Policy Institute. You find these things and you read the article and you think it's reliable, and so you use it as a source. And let's imagine you found in here a table, say, that you wanted to use in your essay. So let's say I copied this table. That's table 2 in there. But imagine I copied it. I actually did copy it, and I pasted it right here. So how do we use this? How do we cite it? First off, let's look at how we would go ahead and cite it. And I've given you the MLA document. And by the way, on this page, I also have this PDF. You'll have to rotate it because it's vertical, and you'll have to make it horizontal. But this basically explains the MLA way in which we cite. And even though this might be table 1, we often label them down below as figures. So, and you just go in order when you have these graphics. Again, a table is a graphic, a picture is a graphic, a chart is a graphic, a graph is a graphic. So you can call them all figures, okay? Labeled as figures, and then you usually do an abbreviation and then the number there. So just to let you know, this part right here is the table, and below it is a little explanation, and then below that is the citation. So here are some other examples. This again is pages 6 through 8 of the 9th edition MLA handbook, if you want to cite that. I don't know why you would, but so these have been labeled as like this painting. Also, they've called it figure 1 as an example, and this one's figure 1. But if they were in both of your papers, it'd be figure 1, figure 2, figure 3. And basically what you do is you put the full citation below the figure, okay? And it says up here that you punctuate it as you would in the works cited entry. However, if you decide you're going to actually talk extensively about the work, you might additionally put it in the works cited list. And so here's an example where this graphic has a very brief citation here, not necessarily done correctly because they have a full citation. And see here it says Edward Topsell, but in the works cited list they inverted the names starting with the surname first. Okay? So I went ahead and did some of that I took this CEO compensation. Because it's a graphic, I didn't worry about making it all Times New Roman. I could probably shrink it a little if I want, but it fit inside of my 1-inch margins. So I just left it as it was. And if I went ahead and did it, I have a little explanation here. I said the CEO options realized for 1965 compared to the private sector worker wage was a little over 22 to 1. Okay, so, and if you remember, Galloway called it 21 to 1. So I think what he did is he dropped this 0.9. But anyway, I took this number and I divided it by this number. that gave me the ratio of the realized options. And by the way, these are in thousands, so you would times these by 1,000, which is crazy because in 1965 they made a lot of money. But it was the ratio was 22 to 1, and then they have a projected 2018 date. I didn't even want to use that. Um, so, I explained this, that in other words, CEOs make 22 times their workers. In 2017, the ratio jumped to 308 to 1. So basically, what I did is I took this 17,270 and I divided it by 56. So those are the numbers I got from their chart. And I don't know that Galloway's reporting it correctly. He's pretty close. And then I give the citation. I said it's figure 1 because this is the only figure I have in this example. And I go ahead and write it out. Lawrence Mischel and Julia Wolf. They call it CEO compensation has grown 940% since 1978. They're not even starting with 1965, but that's the title of their essay. Again, here it is, where I copied it. I've got all this information here. Again, the author's names, the title of the article, the date of the article, the publisher of the article, and then the URL is there. And I went ahead and included the URL. I mean, why not? Why not? So here's a thing that is a little off script that I kind of alluded to in the last video, is I really don't mind if you make these single space, or if you make them 1.15, or if you make them, 1.5 instead of double, just because it's kind of ugly. And I really want you to help the reader see. So I probably do the 1.15, and maybe on this little piece here, I might make it 1.5. It's up to you. Technically, it's supposed to all be double space, but I want it to look good. I want it to be all in one page, easier to read. So I'm okay if you do that. Just because I think our goal as writers is to have our readers understand, and so it's possible that you might want to take this whole graphic and shrink it down too, make it even smaller to take up less of the page. Anyway, so that's how you do that.